පිච්චෙනා නැත්තම් ගියාම කරකුට්ටන් ආවුවට. May I sent a message asking whether we can do a cover up class on Wednesday. Are you free on that day?
Yes, sir.
Wednesday is a holiday, no?
Yes.
School holiday. So we can actually we can start the second module and go through half of it. Almost. If we can do it for about let's say 2 to 3 hours, then we can cover up a lot. Okay, super. Hi, hello Ehansa, how are you? How was the week?
Good.
Good. How is school going on? Good.
It hasn't started yet.
It hasn't started it. Okay. These days in Sri Lanka, we have the sports meet season. So usually February and March is the sports meet season. So most of the schools doesn't do anything. They just focus on the heats and all the games. So yeah, perfect. Okay, let me record this as well in the cloud. But nice. Okay, so let's start off from
recording in progress.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so let's start from where we left off last week. Not last week, week before last week, where we were discussing. Where we were discussing about the cameras, the web cameras, and the footage which can be captured from them. So I saw a nice video which was recently released. This DJI released their new gimbal, so that has a motion tracking camera. Did you guys see it? That video. So that actually has some interesting stuff. Give me 1 second. I'll try to show you that. Cool. Osmo Mobile 7. That actually comes with an inbuilt camera, which so it's a gimbal, but
It's time to step up your
give me 1 second. I'll show you this. Since we were discussing about cameras, that's why it's cool. I hope you can hear this.
creative game.
Yeah. Okay. Let me play it.
It's time to step up your creative game. Meet the new Osmo Mobile 7 and 7P. Unlock new possibilities with an all-new multifunctional module. Effortlessly capture every unexpected milestone moment. Use the Osmo audio ecosystem to pair it with a Mic Mini transmitter for immersive, crystal clear sound.
I'm here with the penguins. Look at how close I am.
With a built-in multi-level fill light, you won't be left in the dark. Never miss out on the memories or the vibe. Put the gimbal down and let it do the rest.
That is beautiful.
We're having a feast over here.
Its light, foldable design makes it especially useful when flying solo. Monitor yourself from afar with a smartwatch and hit the shutter when everything is just right. Improve your footage with powerful 3-axis stability, even when there are unexpected bumps along the way. With DJI Mimo's Active Track 7.0, track subjects in more diverse scenarios. No matter how bold your moves, enjoy smooth tracking every step of the way. a single tap in the Mimo app, anyone can dive into content creation, no matter who or where they are. Designed with your inner creator in mind, the new Osmo Mobile 7 series lets you focus on every move.
Haven't you guys seen gimbal before?
Yes, sir.
Huh? No?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I do have this. So what the video what you saw was that's the latest version, but I do have one with me as well. So this is the previous generation. So this is how it works, and you get your phone and you just clip it in like this, and it takes a little bit of time to start. Go. There, and once you turn it on, it will automatically align, and that's it. So I have the gimbal, and the fun part is, see how far if I try to make moves, see the camera stays stable. This is the fun part with the gimbal. So you can literally walk, and even if you walk, okay, let me show you something. If I open up the chat, so if I log in through this, I don't log in. Oops, sorry, wrong side. Okay, how do you rotate? Yeah. Okay, so if I rotate this, see the video, if I do something like this, see the video is stable. And even if I walk, the video would be 100% stable. See, this is how you do all those videos, like stable shots. Okay, just want to show you how it works. So now here, so the reason I wanted to show you is now here this has the video, and depending on different footages and the quality, it uses AI algorithms to find where we are, right? And then that will keep on tracking me and will give you a couple of options as well. So example is TikTok videos. You might have seen this type of videos where you rotate the phone like this. That effect is being done by this one. Okay, perfect. I just want to show you how it works. Okay, let me turn this off. Okay, and just need to remove this thing. Okay. Cool. Quit. Okay. Gimbal way, if you guys are doing this YouTube videos or any sort of videos, then having a gimbal is quite good. You can do some great stuff with stable content. Okay, perfect. Jumping to the next point. So, yeah, we talked about cameras. Now we jump into a specific device, which is a microphone, right? So, nowadays we do have microphones in almost everywhere, okay? And these microphones are now extremely small, and they allow us to basically communicate with much easier methods than what we had before. So example is if you take an iPhone, I'm not sure whether you guys can see, there's a small dot here in the back, which is a microphone, this one, okay? And as well as on the bottom you have the microphone here. Okay, so that's how in the iPhone it captures surround sound. As well as I do have a DJI mic, which is one of the mics which I'm wearing. So if you look at this one, this actually has a bit of a large microphone. This one, this metallic thing. So this is a bit of a large microphone. So that is why it has let's say the quality is a bit higher, right? So this produces much more higher quality sound, right? Going back long time back, okay, microphones were built like this. So microphones had two different parts to it, okay. So when the sound was sent in, it actually had some carbon granules, small carbon pieces, නිකන් චුටි ගල් ටිකක්, right? What happened is, when the sound goes in, these carbon pieces starts to vibrate, okay? And when this vibrates, this creates a small electricity which is being provided by the amplifier, okay? So basically you get a current in, and this current will travel through these carbon granules based on the vibration. You know what, long time ago, while I was like very young, we had these type of microphones, okay? So these type of microphones, if you actually plug this into a speaker, then actually what happens is you can hear some noise. You can literally listen to some music. Okay, so yes, now you might ask why we are learning about this right now if it is not being used. This is still being used, and can I ask where do you see these type of microphones? Guess, just do a guess. What is that? You guys see these type of microphones?
Studios.
Exactly, in studios you have these huge studio microphones, so they do still work similar to something like this. Why? To make sure the quality is there. So it helps the microphone capture almost all the sound particles, and even very small sounds can be saved. Okay, so now just as an example, I am also using a high-end microphone, this DJI mic. So I think if I keep quiet, you might be able to hear my AC, air conditioner. You can hear, right? Do you? Or I'm not sure if Zoom is cutting it off. Zoom has a noise cancelling feature. So I think Zoom is making like removing off, but technically if you okay, I'll show you this on my OBS studio. So if you take the OBS studio, this is the yeah, technically you can't see the OBS studio, ne? No, sorry, my bad. Okay, OBS studio is not recording itself. So if you open that up, you can see how it works. Anyway, okay. That's about the microphone. So basically you have the carbon granules, and then you get the current, and in return a signal is produced. Now, this type of a card, have you guys seen this? These three sockets or plugs? Nah, okay. In a motherboard, usually you do have these three. Yeah? In a motherboard, usually you do have it, but now what? Sorry?
CPU, right?
What?
CPU, right?
In a PC, not in a laptop. In a PC motherboard, you should normally see this. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Yeah, let me show you this one. So yeah, so if you look at in this PC, so this is a PC, and yes, like this. Can you see the three colors? So you have the red, you have the green, and you have the blue. Okay, and if you look closely on the right next to them, you might be able to see, what do you see on top of the red color one?
Microphone.
You can see, Yes, exactly. A microphone. And what about the green color one?
Line in,
In the out the.
out, right?
It's out, it's out. And the blue one is in. Okay. So that is something typically you have in a PC. But obviously, yes, on laptops you don't get that. So let's see. So what do we get? So microphone is there, and then always the green color one is the line out, and I think some older laptops they still follow this convention where some laptops they do have the microphone and the speaker as separate in and outs. Okay, some older ones. ළඟදී ආපේව නෙමෙයි, like if you take a laptop which is older than 10 years or so, they had this type of a connector. Okay, so that's how the microphone works. And then just keep in mind, so since this is there in the paper, sorry, since you get these type of questions in the paper, you really need to keep the color code in mind. So I don't want you guys to write this down, but this is just something which you can memorize. So red is the microphone, blue is the line in, and green is the line out. Okay, so just keep that in mind so that you know how it works. But okay, question. In the new headsets, how many lines do you have? අලුත් headsets වල කීයක් එනවද inputs? Only one, or do you have two?
Two,
In the new headsets, newer headsets you just have one, right? You just get one. But what about in the older headsets, like which was something like this, they actually had two wires. One is for the microphone and the other one for the sound out. Okay, for the speaker. So they had two different plugs. So just keep that in mind. And those wires, those jacks, they were like stereo jacks. And those stereo jacks were actually color coded as red and green. Okay, so that's how it was back in the day. So, any questions about this? Harry? Okay, nice, perfect. Then we can quickly jump into touch screens. So touch screens, now you guys know touch screens, perfectly know touch screens, because we use touch screens on day-to-day basis, almost every day, right? So how does it work? So when it comes to touch screens, there are two different types of touch screens. Okay, so one is known as resistive touch screens, and the other one is known as capacitive touch screens. Okay, so please do highlight these two words. So when it comes to a touch screen, the two types we have is resistive and capacitive. Hari, highlight karanna tiyaganna, because this is a typical question you get. Okay, so let's jump in and see what is resistive and capacitive. What are the differences between these two? So starting with a resistive screen. So a resistive screen, as the name implies, that is a screen where you will put some pressure on top, right? So resistive screens, you must put pressure, and then when you press the screens together, then only the screens will work. So look at this thing. That is how it works. Okay, so what you do is you have two plates. Okay, not technically a plate, like a small gap in between the screens, and when you press on the screen, what happens is that gap closes down, which will pass the current from this level to this level. Simple as that. හරි. Levels දෙකක් pass වෙන එක තමයි වෙන්නේ. Okay. Where have you seen these type of screens? Guess. In Sri Lanka. Sorry? Dimal, did you try to say something? කොහෙද මේ වගේ screens දැකලා තියෙන්නේ? We have these type of screens. Sorry?
Fingerprint scanner.
You know, this is not a fingerprint scanner. This is a touch screen. Similar to your phone, this is a touch screen. But where have you seen these type of touch screens? Where you have to press very hard. Have you guys been to a ATM machine where you take the money out, automated teller machines, right? Have you used one of those machines ever? Can you bear it? Next time when you go there with your parents, try to ask them to tell them to let you use it and see. So if you take, so I'm not sure about all the banks, but if you take some like up-to-date banks like Sampath Bank and Commercial and all, they do have resistive touch screens where you can't just tap like this. You have to forcefully press, then only the number will get saved. Okay, and then other way around, we have the capacitive touch screens. So the capacitive touch screen works in a different way, where this whole screen has a specific electro layer, and your finger is basically working as a positive electron, right? සිංහලෙන් කියනවා අපි earth වෙනවනේ අපි කියන්නේ current අදිනවා කියලා, right? So what happens is your finger, when you put your finger right on top of the screen automatically gets that discharge. So because of that capacitive touch, because of that short circuit, it registers a fingerprint. Okay, that's how it works. Got the idea? Okay, so that is why sometimes I can't remember from Mehansa, I can't remember who was using the Samsung phone. Okay, yeah. So in your Samsung phone, can you does it actually, like, sometimes you can touch without touching the screen, right? If you move your finger very close to the screen, it might recognize it, right? It does, right? That is because if your finger has static electricity, that will recognize the heat. So in Apple and all, it does not recognize it like that, but yes, that sensitivity is there. Okay, now the most important question. Now you guys now understand what are the two different types, right? Why do we have two different types of touch panels? On the question. So why? Tell me why do we have the resistive and the capacitive touch? Any suggestions? What do you think? Okay, I'll ask the question in a different way. Vihan sir, when you guys go out, like if it is cold, do you wear gloves? If it is cold, you wear gloves. Yes, okay. Can you use your phone when you are wearing gloves? No, right? You cannot. Exactly. So capacitive touch, you literally need to have some sort of a bioavailable touch in order for it to work. So if your finger is not short circuit or breaking the circuit, that's not going to get detected, right? So think of a situation like this. Okay, you guys have seen delivery guys, no? So for a delivery guy, they always wear gloves, right? And have you seen what type of delivery do you guys have there? Do you have DHL? What do you have? So do they? So when they come to your house, do they bring something like a device where they ask you to sign, put a signature on? No. Okay. Okay. Rinaldo, Ethan, have you guys seen a delivery person who comes to your house and asks you to put a signature? දැකලා තියෙනවනේ. හරි. So that device you have to like forcefully press in and sign. So why do they do it? It's mainly because they wear gloves, so they go forward with a resistive touch screen. And if you take the ATM example, which I just explained, ATM එකේ කොහොමද resistive touch දාන්නේ? Because there can be multiple different people who will come with wearing gloves and all sorts of things, right? Then obviously your touch should be detected. Otherwise, it's not going to work out, right? So that's why we have the two different types of touch scanners. Okay, is it clear? Because you get questions asking what's the difference between these two. I have seen questions, couple of questions. Okay, hope the idea is clear. All good? Nice. Okay. Then, so just highlight and keep these words. Anyway, that is highlighted. So resistive touch screens will basically take the value from the pressure, which will cause the two layers on the screen to touch each other. And other way around, by the capacitive screens, there's a layer of capacitive material, and when the user touches the screen, that will basically flows the electricity and will make the touch possible. Okay, so just highlight these words so that you know how it works. I hope the idea is clear. Hari, okay, so I'm going to jump to the next one. Okay, nice. So biometrics. Biometrics is the next most important thing when it comes to identifying somebody, right? Okay, so I'm pretty sure you might have seen this type of movies and all where they use different type of fingerprints, and sometimes they basically like literally get your finger removed from the body and try to scan something and they try to get in, right? You might have seen that in movies, obviously. So how does this work? What they do is you take a high resolution picture, a scan of the fingerprint, and then based on this scan, this will basically keep this fingerprint, this particular fingerprint saved. Right? So how it works is it just does a two-way comparison. So it compares this particular whatever this image with the available image in the system, and it will make a connection. And if the connection is made, then you can go in. So I'll tell you guys something interesting. So back in this was in 2007, I think. I got a chance to work on a team with a project where we tried to build a fingerprint scanning system for our jail system. ඉන්න ඔක්කොම මේ හිරේ ඉන්න හිරකාරයෝ ටිකව එන්ටර් කරන්න සිස්ටම් එකක් හදන්න තිබුණා. So I was part of that team as well, where we tried out a fingerprint scanning system to track and scan all the criminals, or let's say people who are in the jail, and to build a system. So that was quite interesting. There was like multiple different points, but you know what? We were not able to finish it because during that time the fingerprint scanning systems were slow. So the maximum it was able to scan was about 20 fingerprints per second. So we had like couple of thousand inmates and when you get some sort of a fingerprint, let's say Ethan CID කියලා Ethan just give me a call and say Vipula මෙන්න මේ fingerprint එක හොයලා දෙන්න. Then if I tell him okay Ethan give me 2 days, it's not going to work out, right? 2 days. So that was the problem back then. But now we have systems where you can scan, I think you can scan up to about 10,000 fingerprints per second. So technically within couple of seconds you can scan a full database of more than 1 million fingerprints. Okay, that's why nowadays biometrics are very common. Okay, so where do you see these biometrics? කොහෙද දැකලා තියෙන්නේ? මේ වගේ දැකලා තියෙනවද?
Yes, sir.
Where?
Thanks.
In banks. Yes, in banks they do. Where? At your
Offices.
school? Offices, exactly. Does your school has a fingerprint scanner?
Yes, sir.
They should. අය අර පරක් වෙලා ටීචර්ස්ලා අල්ලගන්න ඔක තියන් ටක් ගාලා. So that's actually easy because you know the funny thing is now back like long time ago, before we got this type of attendance systems, we had to sign a book, no? So if everybody comes in at a specific time and you sign the book, and the security guard, what he does is right at 8 o'clock he writes a red line. Obviously English can ratu ira kapana කියලා. So what he does is he takes the book and write a red line. So anybody who signs after the red line is taken as late. Okay. So ඕක හරි කරදරයක් දැන්. මොකද I think කෙල්ලෝ ඇවිල්ලා කියනවා අනේ අයියේ පාක පල්ල තව ටිකක් දෙන්න. And then we get people who are like regularly late, people who travel using trains and all. So yes, we can't help it. It's technically not their fault, but then again, have different points. So that was actually a very serious problem. Now that's why most of the places they implemented this. So now you can't say why you are late and all. When you punch in, you get your details entered. So that's about the fingerprints. So just keep in mind, so this fingerprint must be clear, it should be clearly visible, and it should be able to go through the system. Okay, for the case, I'll tell you guys a good example. While I was working at a company, one of my friends, his finger didn't work. He couldn't use his finger. Why? All his fingers, all 10 fingers, it wasn't usable. So he had to use a card. What?
No fingerprints?
Fingerprints are there. Okay. He is a guitar player. He used to play so he plays in a band, so all his fingers are damaged. Huh? No, because of playing the guitar, all his fingers are partially damaged. So his fingerprints are not recognizable. So the office had to give him a card so that he can tap. So there still, see, so the reason I brought up that example was it's not 100%. It's not 100% practical yet. So there can be some like side we call them edge cases. There can be edge cases. Okay. Perfect. Then, so that is about fingerprints. Then we talk about facial recognition. So facial recognition is almost straightforward, as the name implies. It's basically recognizing your face, right? So that will basically construct a human face using the details from a device, and then that will make sure that it identifies who you are exactly. Do you guys know how Apple's face unlock works? Have you seen the videos? This is how it works. So here on top of the iPhone, in this case it's located here. Okay, there is a small scanner. So if I turn off the iPhone and if I try to show it to the camera, can you guys see the flickering? No, right?
Yes, like
No.
one.
It doesn't show the flickering, but if I try to do something like this, no, still no. Okay, so what it does is, this has a something called a dot projector. Okay, what it does is, it projects a set of dots to your face, and using that dots, this sensor creates a mask. Okay, see how this works. This is how actually Face ID works. See that, so look here. So you can see the infrared sensor. So when it's scanning, see, so inside the notch you have the camera, and then you do have a sensor. Okay, so this sensor, what it does is, it actually throws out a certain set of dots which will be captured by another camera. So see that technically that camera within like split seconds projects over 30,000 dots onto your face. Okay, and then so these are infrared dots. So that travels through anything. Even if you are wearing a sunglass, still that travels through it. And then dots are invisible for us, but if you look it through an infrared camera, then you can see it. See? Oops, sorry. So yeah, so that's how it detects. So because of this technology, Apple came up with a method where you can actually unlock your phone even while you're wearing your sunglasses. Even if you wear a face mask, still this guy can determine the facial structure, unless you met with some sort of unless you go and do a full plastic surgery makeup, then it will be a problem. But otherwise it worked. And during the early stages, Apple had a problem with twins, because sometimes if you had an identical twin, they were able to unlock the device. But now it's not there. Now all the twins can be be safe because you can't unlock the face like that. And like during the early stages, so I also bought a iPhone X when it was released, only like for the sake of because of that face unlock thing, because it was so interesting. But by that time they had some issues where like you had the option of unlocking it using your child also, like mother and child. If the faces are look alike, then that worked as well. But now it's almost fixed, so now it doesn't work like that. But then again, now you guys saw how face unlock and the face recognition works. So this will keep a database of all the faces, and it can track you. And I'm not sure whether this is 100% correct or not. This is something which I read online, so just take it with a grain of salt. So during the COVID, Chinese government, they had a tracking system. They had a facial tracking system. Again, this is something which I read online. They say that they had a facial tracking system where they were able to track specific people who they suspected that they had COVID throughout the entire country. So they say they have video cameras fixed at almost everywhere, and it is connected to a government network. So as long as you show your face, they know where you are. It's scary, but they say it was there. So that's how they like specifically found and isolated different areas before they got infected. Okay, so yes, face unlock, like the face recognition is used a lot. Then we jump into the other point, which is known as voice recognition. Okay, so voice recognition is quite straightforward. Voice recognition, it's basically you use a microphone to capture a certain word which will be converted into a binary pattern, something like this, right? And then next time you tell the same word over again, what happens is the system will identify and validate and get you in. Okay, so how it works is it will check if the if both values exist together, and it will let you in. So, but be careful now. It's not that simple as it sounds, because now let's say if Dinal has a voice on unlock feature, even if I record it, it might not exactly work, because the thing is, even if I record his voice contains different pitches, right? So when we record, still this microphone will be able to capture a certain let's say his voice up to a certain extent, not the exact voice, not the exact full voice, right? In that way, that can differ. Okay, so it's not always perfect, but yes, we do have the voice recognition as well, where you will use the microphone to capture and get the voice. And now when it comes to the security side of things, then the most powerful one is iris recognition. So iris recognition, you can't play around with that. You literally need an actual eye, and what it does is it literally analyzes your iris, and it will save that details. So similar to like for fingerprints, human iris is also it contains a certain set of unique patterns, or a pattern, right? So throughout this iris scan, what it does is it basically finds out these particular patterns, and then it will save it in the system. So for me personally, I haven't seen, like, actually, I mean physically I haven't seen an iris scan, but I have seen iris scans on movies almost, right? All of you might have seen iris scans on movies, no? But in an actual scenario, I haven't seen one. But yes, so it works the similar way. Okay, so there are some advantages and disadvantages of this as well. Now, um, so when it comes to biometrics, primarily advantages would be easier for users than using passwords, because biometric data cannot be forgotten, right? Unless you met with an accident or something, you will, as long as you have your fingers, you can unlock. Or if you as long as you have your eyes, you should be able to unlock it, right? But the problem is there are disadvantages, because privacy and security wise, it can cause a concern, because your data can be stored at some point, right? So this will basically cause a security issue, because yes, your data is electronically saved. Plus, again, if we look at advantages, we have more, like it's more difficult to trick or confuse biometrics, because you can't fake a biometric, and it can also speed up transactions. Also, at the same time, you are not restricted by any language barriers. And other way around, there is a possible trick for, so sometimes it can be possible to trick them, and expensive to make and buy, obviously, as well as it will make some people uncomfortable, okay, having your biometrics saved. Okay, have you guys heard about the egg? Have you guys seen any news about something known as an egg? The egg. Cool. I think I mispronounced it. It should be the, not the egg, it's the orb, is it? Okay, let me do a search. I'm going to do the search. Opening the orb. Yeah, I get that. Orb tamai. It's the orb. Okay, so this is something a company is trying to invent, where where is the video? Anyway, okay, there was a nice video about this. Okay, anyway, I'll show you this one. So this was something which a company came up last year, back in 2023. So something known as the orb. Okay, so this is a biometric scanning device. Okay, and this was, I'm not sure whether this was approved, but he was trying to get the US approval. So his whole idea is, this will give you a biometric identity card. Okay, so it's like your national ID. Apita Lankawe, we have the NIC, national identification card. Similar to that, this orb will have your biometric ID. Okay, how does it work? Quite simple. You touch the orb, and the orb will scan your fingerprint and will check your iris, or do whatever the scans which it will do on its own, and it will authenticate you. Okay, it's good in a way. So just think, if this was released, then we don't need passports. Just think, okay, I know these two have traveled. Yeah, you know the hassle of going through a airport, right? You go through multiple checks, you go through passport checks, another check, may check, all the visa and everything. Just think, if you don't need to go through anything, you just go to the airport, you touch the orb, and you walk in. Done deal. Nothing. No, you don't need to do anything. So it's good, huh? I know in a way it's scary because your data can be shared throughout the world. But when it comes to the plus point, I highly like the plus point because that would make our lives much easier. You don't have to carry passports or any other identification. ඕක හැබැයි ලංකාව වගේ රටකට හරියන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් පොලිස් කාර්යයක් කියලා නවත්තලා මෙන්න මේක අල්ලපන් කියලා කියන්න බෑනේ. They'll have to so it's not technically going to work out for countries like us, but then again for first world countries it might work. Okay, so yes, I just want to show you much that detail. Okay, so yeah, and then we have the point about card readers. So card readers, I hope you guys all know what is a card reader is. So the card reader is basically reading some data in the card, right? So how it works is so these cards have different programmable chips, right? And then based on the programmable chip, the card reader is able to understand what is there in the chip. Okay, can I show you guys something interesting? Give me 1 second, hold on. Okay, so give it a second. Hold on. My device is low on battery and okay, so do you know what this is? Look at that thing. Do you know what this is? Okay.
I remember.
Okay, so this is a tool called Flipper. Okay, so yes, this is legal. This is a legal tool which we use to do penetration tests. Okay, penetration test means, as I always say, there are two sides of hacking. So you have you do have white hacking and you have black hat hacking. So white hat hacking is we do check if someone else can hack our systems. So that's why we use this type of stuff, right? So this has a method. Let me check if the charge me. This is not getting charged. Okay, we might. Okay. Let me try this out. Okay, I'll remove the power from the laptop and plug this in. So I forgot to charge it, that's why. Okay, now it's charging. So this guy has the ability to scan stuff. Okay, so this guy can scan a card. Okay, so let me show you how it works. So what can I do? Okay, I'll take one of my cards. Okay, so if you take this card, this is a Visa card, right? Okay, now do you know how it works? Now don't try to do any online purchasing with this one. Okay, now this has a certain set of data inside the card itself. Okay, so how it works is, now if I use this tool, I can show you how it exactly works. So this can actually read whatever the data which is there on the card. So when you put this into the ATM machine, this is what happens. Hold on, info NFC. Okay, so here in the device, it will show that you need to put the card, right? Okay, now if I take the card and if I put the card behind the reader, did you see the details? It immediately read the card. Okay, I'll try it again. So I'm going to say back and start again, go. Exit and read again. Okay, so you can see it's going to get read. So I just put the card. Immediately when I put the card, it gets the data. This is how what? This is how tap to pay works. You go to a shop and you tap. So the card has that card information. See? So if you check this out, you can see this has all the Visa. It has all my card details. So that's how this system works. Okay. So now these card readers, what they do is they have a similar system where it can read the data on the card, and then it will basically get the details and process. That's how the tap to pay works. Okay, so there are two different types of cards. So one is the magnetic strip card. So magnetic strip card is basically the place where you have the strip in it, right? So you basically you get the strip, and then the card has the same information. It is saved inside the magnetic strip as well. Okay, that is the one type of card. And then you have the programmable chip card, this one. So the programmable chip card is almost the same thing, but they do have a chip. See, this is the chip. Okay, so these cards has all three. So this has the internal details, NFC details, and it has the chip, as well as it has the magnetic strip. Okay, so all the details are there in the card. So that's how these two different types of cards work, as well as you have the so these type of cards are being used regularly. So we use them at hotels and whatnot, hotel cards and locations. You can actually, like some safes, they do have these type of cards as well. So you can use it for anything. And this flipper, you can do some fun stuff. So once you scan a card, you can save the card. So I usually do that, like if I go to a hotel, I use this to scan the hotel card and save it on the flipper. And then even if I lose the card at some point, still I can use the flipper to open it up. Okay, is it clear? So all good? Okay, perfect. So now those two are the main two types, and this is what I just showed you, NFC. So this is the NFC card where you tap and you pay from just tapping on the main card. So how it works is it uses the NFC chip which is there in the card itself, and then it will allow you to read the details. So this is where this tap to pay thing came into action. Okay, so how does it work? It has a unique ID, like as you guys saw previously in the flipper itself. So you have the ID, and from the ID itself, it will basically try to make the transaction through the credit card machine, since that card number is already there. it will initialize the transaction and instantly that would let you complete the purchase. Right? That's how this particular thing works. Okay, so keep in mind, guys, so we do have 3 different types. One is the magnetic strip, the second one is the programmable chip, and the third one is the NFC NFC feature or NFC card in this case. Okay, Hari, clear neither? All good? Okay, so I need to jump to something totally different now. So any questions up to this extent? Right? Okay. Yeah, Dina, you're also okay, right?
Yes.
Yes, we do have also. Yeah, husband is also there. Hi. Yes. Any questions, husband? All good?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Nice. Okay. Then we'll jump into section sensors. So I'm pretty much doing a speed run through these guys. So it's all about explaining different stuff. So then once we jump into papers, you guys will understand. Oh, you guys will see how these things which we are learning right now patches in together, because here we talk about different points, but when it comes to the question papers, it all sums up together. Okay, so let's jump into this and then you guys will see how it works exactly. So sensors, simply said and done, sensors. So sensors are something which will be used to get some sort of a physical input and convert it into a binary or a digital data point. Okay, so what they do is, so please do highlight this point. Sensors are used to input data about physical environments. Okay, so if you get a question asking what is a sensor, so then the answer would be sensors are a sensor is a device that input data about the physical environment, or a device will convert an action which happens in the physical environment into digital data. You can write it in any type of a any combination you wish. You can use. Okay. So how and where do we need this? Can you tell me where have you seen sensors? කොහෙද දැකලා තියෙන sensor එක?
In cars.
Okay, be more specific. What type of a sensor? What?
Like when you park.
When you park, what type of a sensor gets activated when you park? Parking sensors? No. What about the reverse sensor? When you reverse, if you try to reverse very close to a wall or something, then the car automatically starts emitting a sound, right? Just warning you that you are nearing a wall or you are going to hit on some place. Neither. You have a reverse sensor now? So, මොකක්ද reverse sensor එක? What type of a sensor that is? What does it like? Do you know the name? It's you can see it here. It's there on the image itself. What type of what do we use for reverse sensor? Image එකේ තියෙනවා ඒක. හිතන්න බා. Okay, so we use a proximity sensor, right? A proximity sensor. So the proximity sensor, what it does is it basically checks if there is something in the proximity. Right? When you reverse, if there is a wall or something within the near range, then that would automatically sends an alert, and then the proximity sensor gets triggered, and end of the day you get the notification, right? That's how it's going to work out, right? Okay, so there are multiple different types of sensors. What is this one? මෙන්න මේක මොකක්ද? Can you guess? Guess කරන්න බෑ මොකක්ද? Oh yeah, it's there. ඉන්නමාට පෙන්නන්න මේ an actual usage of this. Don't mind about my AC. එක පොඩ්ඩක් දුවිලි තියෙනවා ඒකේ. Okay. මේ තියෙන real world example cool. Can you see this small probe? මේ shooty probe එකක් තියෙනවා පේනවද? මේ wire එකක් තියෙන second wire. The second wire, this one. This particular wire. Cool. This one, which is on top. You guys can see it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that is the temperature sensor. I hope this won't break. So let me show you how it works. So the AC has a sensor, which this yellow color cable. Okay, so this yellow color cable comes in, and then you have this sensor. So the sensor is here, which is this part, which then what happens is air is pulled from the top, and it hits the sensor, and the sensor detects the temperature. Okay, that is technically how the AC controls its temperature. Right? So what you can see here is also a temperature probe. Got the idea? So when you set the temperature in an air conditioner, that is how the air conditioner detects the temperature and controls the environment. Clear? Got the idea?
Yes.
Shame ne link එක දෙනානේ. You know how to link things together, right? Okay, nice. So why do we need these sensors? Mainly you use the sensors to place this in remote or dangerous places. Yeah, when it comes to heat or cold, both, right? And sensors can monitor continuously. So example is when it comes to this AC, which I just showed you, it should run continuously and monitor continuously, right? Because it should make sure that whatever the temperature which I have set, now I have set this to 24. So it should monitor and make sure that the temperature is fixed at 24. So that's the typical way, and at the same time it should make sure that it will like there won't be any human errors. Then let's say if I let Ethan to control the AC, if I get Ethan and ask him to sit here and control the temperature according to how he feels. If he feels very cold, he'll increase the temperature, right? And others might not feel cold. Likewise. So we cannot ask a human to use his emotional view to control the temperature or anything, right? So it works like that. You guys understand the point, right? So likewise, there are few points which these sensors cannot work. So basically it will let anybody remove the human error, human aspect, as well as they can sense things which people cannot. As the example which I just said, if I ask somebody to control the AC according to how they feel, people will feel temperature differently, right? I will feel the temperature in a different way than how you feel it, right? So depending on our bodies, how our bodies are made, the body size and everything, the temperature, how you feel is going to get changed, right? Likewise, there will be multiple different points, so the data cannot be automatically checked. So what are the sensors usually we have? We do have light, we have moisture and humidity sensors, we have temperature, like as the one I just showed you, as well as proximity and distance sensors. Example which I told about this thing, about the car, right? Distance sensors and motion and movement sensors. Where do we see motion sensors? කොහෙද අපි දකින්නේ? We do see motion
Alarm
sensors here
system.
and there. Alarm systems, exactly. Alarm systems. These motion sensors. There are like different types of motion sensors where nowadays we do have like high-end systems where you can program them. අපේ ගෙවල් ගෙදරක තියෙනවා alarm එකක් high කරලා, I think even if it detects a cat or a dog, it goes off.
Sir, we have one.
Do you have one? Is it very sensitive?
Okay. Sir, it's ringing now.
Huh?
It's ringing right now.
Seriously? Yeah, I have the same problem. One of my neighbors near my place has an alarm and it rings all the time. Even I think if there's some sort of if there is a storm, still it starts to ring. I think it detects the motion of the trees and all as an intruder and it starts to ring. But I believe there are some alarm systems where you can set a threshold. A threshold is you can adjust the sensor so that it will only ring when a certain level is passed. Okay, I have seen something like that, but I'm not sure how it works. Okay, so then so that is for motion and movement, and then we have pressure sensors. කොහෙද pressure sensor එකක් දකින්නේ? Where do you see a pressure sensor? You guys might have seen it at multiple locations. Any clue? Have you seen this type of electric scales where those very thin electric scales where you when you just stand on it, it automatically detects, like these glass scales, right? Those works with pressure sensors. So it basically senses the pressure and then it converts that pressure into a number. So it technically detects the number of kilograms which is put on as the weight. Okay, so that's the part behind sensors. Any questions, guys? All good? Shall I continue? Okay, perfect. So now there can be multiple digital sensors and then digital sensors around the place. So we all use sensors on day-to-day basis. Okay, now jumping into, now we were talking about input devices. Now we jump into a set of output devices which we will run through because you guys almost know about this. So I will just quickly jump through it and we can basically cover it up. Okay, so up to now we were talking about inputs. Okay, so different types of input devices which will be used in a computer system so that to get some valid input in. So we talked about physical input devices, pens and touch and sensors and whatnot, all the different types. Now we are jumping out into outputs because now the input is done. Now let's talk about the output on how to get some sort of an output from a computer system, right? So how do you do this? Let's start from a display, right? So the display should be the primary point where your information will be shown out. So what is the most common way of displaying content, it's by using a monitor, right? So a monitor, I think you guys will not see this type of a monitor. This was actually this was there back until around 2008-ish. After 2008, we got all the LCD panels, and you know what? All our offices back then, they had this type of screens. අර හෙන පත screens තිබුණා හැමෝගාම. Then only everything moved into LCDs. Nowadays you can't even find this type of a monitor. So how does it work? So there are different types of monitors with different screen sizes plus different resolutions. So based on different pixels, we had different resolutions, right? And then at the same time, energy efficiency and those type of factors were able to which was basically considered based on creating the screens. So earlier days we had CRT monitors, cathode ray tube monitors, which is this huge screens. Then we jumped into the LCD technology, which is this type of screens, and ultimately now we do have LCD plus touch screens. So I think most of the laptops nowadays, they do come with a touch screen, right? You can interact with the laptop using your fingers, and you can use the screen to touch and go through. So that is about monitors, and then we jump into printers. Okay, so printers are again similar concept. We do have different types of printers. Then we have color printers, we have dot matrix printers, and we have inkjet printers, right? So I think you all might have seen the color and the inkjet printer, but dot matrix printers, you don't see this every day. Where can you see one of these? කොහෙද දකින්නේ dot matrix printer? Have any place where you have seen this type of printer? No clue. මතක තියනවද at a shop where when you go to some sort of a shop where you might have heard this type of a printer where you get this sound key, and they tear the paper and give you the bill. Haven't seen something like this? Well, if you go to Singer or Barnes or those type of shops where they print these big bills, Damro, they still use dot matrix printers, because dot matrix printers lets you feed a paper roll, a set of papers, and then it allows you to print it in a specific order where you can tear the paper and get it out. Okay, so that is how the dot matrix printers works. Okay, so that will basically allow you to. So what we do is we call it impact printers. Okay, so the dot matrix, what they do is they have a small let's say a tape. Okay, and to this tape there is a small head which will keep on hitting like that. It keeps on pressing the head to the paper, which will then convert whatever the ink which is there in the ribbon back to the paper. Okay, that way it will convert the text, print the text to the paper like as it is. Okay, so that is known as an impact printer. And then we have the inkjet printers. Inkjet printers are the most common printers you guys might have seen as well, which is straightforward. You put the ink. So you put the ink here. You put the ink with multiple colors like RGB or different types of colors, and you just press print and you print it out. Straightforward, like as it is. you can get a clear print out of the inkjet printer, right? And then there's a certain comparison where we do compare, because now when it comes to the speed, obviously the dot matrix is the slowest because it prints line by line. Inkjet is fast and laser is the fastest. Laser means, you guys know that these are the typical printers where we use for photocopying, right? Photocopy machines are based on laser printers. So that's why they are really fast. Printer cost here, dot matrix are extremely cheap and lasers are expensive. Inkjet is in the medium level. And then cost per copy is actually dot matrix low, inkjet is high, plus laser is medium. And the print quality is color printing. No color printing is available for the dot matrix. That is very rare. Inkjet and laser both does have color printing ability. Okay. Quality wise, as you know, dot matrix means dots getting printed out. So the quality is very low, and inkjet quality is quite high, and laser is the highest. Okay. So most of these books and all, what you see, they are printed using lasers. Then we'll quickly jump into 3D printing. 3D printing, this is the same concept, but what we do is we use plastic. Okay, so it is printing, but in this case we use plastic, and we use something known as a plastic like,
I have one of those, but it looks like a pen.
sorry?
I have like a 3D printed thing, but it looks like a pen.
That's the pen. Yes. Yeah, that is there. So how do you load the pen? You load it from behind, or?
Yes, sir. I
Nice.
put the plastic like that. It's like a little. Like
That's a plastic roll. Oh, okay. That, of course, you have to draw by hand. Right? That's the thing. Okay. I have seen it. I have seen it online. But here, in this case, this is like entirely 3D. So you can basically get a 3D drawing and upload it to the printer, and the printer will start extruding the plastic. So it takes a long time to create, but it gives you the quality. Right? So how it works is, it basically like creates the design part by part, as you can see here. So you start from something basic, and later on you get the design added to it. So this 3D printing now there are multiple like different 3D printers also, which has like many different features in them. So just do some research and see. There are some interesting printers available. Okay, then we talked about the plotter. So the plotter is almost the same thing, but it's a big printer which will print huge papers or colored papers or things like that, which will be basically being used by architects and designers to print massive plans and all. As well as plotters, they do have a method of adding a small, let's say something like a small cutting head, where you can actually print, and after printing it, you can get the plotter to cut it as well. So you basically get both done from one single device. Okay, so that's the idea behind the plotter. And then we talk about projectors. So data projectors, almost simple idea. So you do have a light bulb, and there's a certain resolution obviously, and how it works is, this light bulb has a specific lens which will throw out a particular light. And in the old projectors, they do what they had was, they had a small film layer which had something like an LCD. So that helped the system project out. Going back long time ago, we had different types of projectors which had 3 colors in them, which then they moved all 3 colors together and they made the image. That was also one type. And then nowadays we do have laser projectors. So laser projectors works in a similar way, like as a monitor, but it uses a different algorithm where it will use the colors and use the system to take the data out from a colored sheet and to project it into a wall. Okay, so they do have few options. So the resolution is there. So based on the bulb and based on the quality of the screen, the resolution changes, as well as you get the zoom functionality. So sometimes you get optical zoom, sometimes you get digital zoom. So it goes vice versa depending on the device. And also you do get smaller devices as well. So I do have a portable projector. I don't have it right now with me, but I think if you check my TikTok channel, I did had a video there which I showed off my portable projector. That was like at the same day which I bought it. So it's very small, and you can connect it to a Wi-Fi kind of signal, and you can use it to watch movies, and it goes HD 60 frames per second. So it's quite good. Okay, so that's about the projector. And then we have speakers. So speakers, same as microphones, you guys know how it works. So there are multiple different types of speakers, where you have this small type of speakers where it is something similar to like a tweeter, as well as you have surround speakers, and you have single speakers, and you have a lot of different types of speakers, right? And then okay, hold on. Yeah, and then you have one more device which is known as a control device. So these control devices are actually something which you will use to perform some sort of an activity by moving a device. Okay, so it can be either a valve, a piston, a heater, or a motor. Okay, example is you have this okay, so we have these systems where we cut off the water connection when the water is filled up, or when the electricity is active, we can make a door locked, right? Like those type of activities. So those are being done by control devices. Okay, so they are a physical device, but what happens is when you provide some electricity, they make some sort of an action or an activity which will make sure that it will perform which will make sure it will perform that specific activity. Example is, if you want to lock a door, you can set a solenoid, and then once you add the current, that door will be locked. Likewise. Okay, so that's technically a control device. And then we jump into storage. Okay, so storage devices are technically, as you guys know, that's the end point of storing the data, which is end up as hard drives, right? So we use storage devices to store data, which then we can reuse, right? So whatever we save, whatever we process in a computer, that data is technically sent to the hard drive, and we save it in the disk so that we can reuse it later, right? So hard disks. So there are different types of hard disks. So primarily the main hard disk what we use is known as a spin disk, or something like similar to this one. Okay, how it works is, this actually has a certain set of platters. So these are known as platters, which spins with a motor, and this is known as the spindle. Okay, and when this spins, this has a certain set of magnetic arms which runs through these disks. Okay, so when it runs through the disks, then this can slowly read whatever the data which has been written on the disk. Okay, in that way you can keep on reading the data. So that's how it works. So there are different, I think when I showed you the hard disks, when I showed you all the hardware, you guys saw that that hard disk has a specific speed written on it, right? So that is how the speed definition works. And that's the number of repetitions, the number of cycles this is basically running, and that's how the data is saved. So apart from that, I think we already talked about this small point, where we do have another three different types of points, where we have the CDs, DVDs, and the Blu-ray discs, which will have which we use to store data on disks. Okay, so the difference now, we talked about the hard disk. So CDs also, like the size is almost the same, ne? CDs are the size all the CDs are the same size, but how it worked was how it differs is the CD has a specific point. So example is a CD has a size. So this is the data size of a CD, a data bit size, and this is the data bit. This is the data bit size of a DVD, and this is the data bit size of a Blu-ray. So that means these three have different number of abilities to store the data. So technically, Blu-rays has more capacity. Dinal, you said you have a PlayStation or a Xbox?
Sir, PlayStation.
PlayStation. That's running on Blu-ray, right? Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's the PlayStation 5, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay.
5.
That means you can put all the PlayStation games as well, right? PS5, 4 games also works, right?
Yes, sir. 4, I don't think about 3 will like 4.
3 won't work. 3 obviously won't work. But 4 you can play, no? That's
Yes,
it.
sir.
Okay. That's it. Nice. Yeah. So PlayStation works based on the Blu-ray architecture, because those games are extremely huge. They went through the Blu-ray architecture, and one of the discs they actually have like couple of gigabytes of data stored in them. So the size is the same, but the number of data which can be written into it is actually very small. Okay. So at the same time, we do have the other methods, which is known as flash media is there. You guys all know what is flash media is. Flash media is basically pen drives. So like these flash media is energy efficient, so that you can save the data on it. As well as we have magnetic tapes. So magnetic tapes are something again different, but then again it's also being used to save data, right? So it's basically a simple method of recording data into a magnetic tape, and it will almost keep the data safe. So there is a point about the kilobytes and all. Yeah, okay. Guys, shall we wrap it up the class for today, and shall we jump back on Wednesday? Are you guys okay? Wednesday morning. Is everybody fine?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
What about Yehansa? Yehansa and Mehansa?
Okay, sir.
So Wednesday is a holiday, so I think we can start early in the morning as well. Do you guys go to school on Wednesday, or still on
No.
holidays?
Yeah, still holidays.
Okay, then you all can join. What about Azman?
Okay, sir.
Okay, yeah. Shall we then shall we start around when? What do you think? 9, 10, 9 o'clock? Is it too early? 10 o'clock? Sri Lankan time? Huh? Is it too early? ඒකත් උදේ වැඩිද? Then 11 to, let's say 11 to 1:30 or 11 to 2. Sure? Okay. I'll put a message on the group as well. We'll do it likewise. So then we can cover a portion of this as well as the class we missed. Okay guys, I know everybody is tired. Even I am tired. I've been standing from like 7:30 in the morning. So yes. So let's catch back on Wednesday then. Okay, super. Okay guys, see you then.
Bye, sir.
Have a nice weekend.
Bye, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
See you again. Bye.